who's the emissary to the Jews. He's in charge of all the Judaica. And you know what the Vatican, what in Rome is the symbol of the conquest of Israel?
The branch that breaks.
The menorah. The menorah. And there's a lot of talk. I heard from somebody once, like I don't even know, some Eliyahu Hanavi once came into Far Rockaway to the Aguda where I used to sit and learn for many years before I made Aliyah, and he was a person who studied, he was Baal Tshuva, and he studied in the Vatican. They have like a university. So as he was doing this, he became more interested in Judaism, and he started asking questions, and he asked, could you show me, is the menorah here? What's that? Is the menorah here? So he says one of the people in charge said, yeah, it's here. And he says, and there's a lot of... See, the thing about the Vatican is that they bury they bury everybody in there, in the bottom. It's really gross. But they really bury everybody, down there. So it's all the dead are underneath. And he said it's definitely in there. Rabbi Blech told me that he's not 100% sure about the menorah, but he knows 100% that the paroches that Titus tore is in the Vatican. Now you have to know what that paroches was. You don't even know what it was. It wasn't like a simple thing. It took like hundreds and hundreds of weavers to knit it. It was wool. It took about 300 Kohanim to put it into the mikvah. Do you understand what we're talking about here? It's massive. Thick. Massive. Okay. Anyway.
Why do you have to go in the mikvah before to clean it?
If it became tummy.
Well, didn't they throw blood on it?
Probably came tummy a lot because there were all the Kohanim used to drop dead on Yom Kippur when they went into the Kodesh Kodashim. They probably were toiling it every year. Okay, I got another one.
They didn't sprinkle like blood on it?
That was part of the avoda of Yom Kippur, to sprinkle blood on it. But if it became tamei because of a death, then you know.
My father used to say that all these artifacts were hidden. It would open the place every 50 years. That's why the people didn't know what it was. The whole thing is all secret. This is not open to.
How is it that, like, today, like the world can't put pressure on them to like reveal all these things?
Why would the world put pressure?
Okay, that brings me to the Poltover Gaon. What you just said brings me to the Poltover Gaon. Now you have to hear this. And by the way, I owe you answers to all the questions, and you're going to hold me accountable because I have too much information. Sorry, for one Shiur, we'll get to it, I hope. So, by the way, Rav Kook is the one who says that the menorah quotes the Gemara in Baba Basra, Daf Chaf Hey Amud Beis. It says that the menorah represents Chachma. How do you know? Because if you Harotza Sheyachkim Yadim, if you daven in the southern direction, you'll become smart because that's where the menorah was. And by the way, on Hanukkah, many shuls place the menorah on the southern wall because it's really where it belongs. Okay. And the Medrash says, and the Bhalotcha brings it, Rav Kook points out, that the 7 branches of menorah also correspond to the 7 planets. The 7 kochvei lechet. In other words, those that are visible to the naked human eye, using whatever is 7 planets. You know what those 7 planets are? Start with the sun. Because remember, we still don't believe in a sun-centered universe. Ask Lubavitcher Rabbi, he never believed in it. Once you go into quantum mechanics, it busts the whole idea. It's all relative. It's all what position you're looking at. These things are objects in motion.
What don't we believe?
Solar-centered universe.
Sun-centered universe.
It's not consistent with Einstein's quantum mechanics. Not consistent. But they said that Lubavitcher Rabbi once went in the University of Berlin, which was what? The seat of the 7 wisdoms that inherited the Chachma of Mitzrayim and the Chachma of Greece was Berlin. And he was there studying. Soloveitchik learned there. Rav Hutner learned there. What's her name? Chama Leibowitz learned there. And the Rebbe was there for a period of time. Then he went on to the Sorbonne. He was more of a scientist than a philosopher. He built submarines for the U.S. Navy to make a living when he first became Rabbi. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
They didn't have any money. Lubavitch was a bankrupt organization. That sounds funny now, right? They have more money than the Rebbe. What? I'm sorry.
It's the Lubavitcher Rebbe you're talking
Lubavitcher Rebbe
about?
was sitting in University of Berlin, and of course, they taught Einsteinian physics because that was all the rage in the 20s and 30s. Einstein published his 5 great papers. It's called The Miracle Year of Einstein. I mentioned this to you in 1906, which corresponds to the year 5666, which is the true opening of the gates of wisdom according to the Zohar. 1906. Because the year 5600, corresponding to 1840, was supposed to be, according to Zohar, the opening of the complete gates of both divine knowledge and human knowledge. And when you open up gates, what do you expect to happen? They should flood together. That started in 1906 in an intense way. All the great breakthroughs in electronics, in physics, in nuclear energy, everything we understand about electricity, everything we understand about magnetism, everything we understand about anything, really started to come to light. So the Rebbe was there, and he says, he's approached one of the professors and says, based on Einstein's theories, and where time and space are relative to each other, why are you still teaching that the world is solar centered? It's not. You could just as easily say that it's earth-centered. It's all relative. You want to say it's earth-centered? Great. You want to say it's sun-centered? That works too. It's all a matter of perspective.
It's God-centered.
What's that?
It's God-centered.
Exactly. It's Hashem-centered. So, basically his professor said to him the equivalent of, yeah, but I need to go through shidduchim with my daughter. So if I say the truth, I'll never make a shidduch for my daughter. It's like today, if you say something a little bit avant-garde, the Rosh Hashivas can't say anything too eyebrow raising because the Kanayim are going to come after me and my daughter will never get a shidduch. Anyway, so that's really outstanding. But back to the 7 wisdoms for a moment. Okay? 7 wisdoms which were associated with which biblical figure more than any other figure? Yosef HaTzadik. How many languages did Yosef HaTzadik have to use in order to? 70. Okay? Right. Now, let me blow your mind a little bit here. Bhalotcha says, when Moshe picks the 70 elders, when things start going bad, on the first day, on the 20th day of Iyar, they start complaining, Hashem sends out a fire, starts killing people, including the 70 Zakanim that sneaked their way up on Har Sinai and saw a little bit too much. Yeah. They looked at Hashem, means they thought they were prepared to integrate the Nevuah of Hashem with the physical world. Not quite. We have a ways to go. That's going to take place where? Not at Har Sinai. It's going to take place on Har Habayis. Wait, you're jumping the gun. They died. Instead, Moshe says, these guys want meat. They're not interested in man. Man is given to people who want to learn the Torah. It is the food of the angels. It is the integration of shemen and lechem, the physical world of lechem, and the intellectual chachma world of shemen. Now, the 12 tribes represented what? The 12 tribes represented what? The 12 loaves were represented by the 12 loaves of lechem, the embodiment of a sacred physical world, the fixed world, which is illuminated by the Menora, which is the symbol of the divine wisdom, which is behind the curtain. You can't see it. It's the Aron Kodesh, but it's animating the 7 wisdoms, which is why, how did they have to be lit? Facing towards the middle branch. 6 and 6 towards the 7. Chol to Shabbos. because the Chachmas HaTorah is the central being of all other knowledges.
These people, were they buried in Midbar, the 70 that died?
Probably Har Sinai.
Died?
No, not Har Sinai. Where they were on the 20th of Iyar.
And they were buried?
They were breaking camp. The truth is they were 3 days away from Har Sinai. We know that.
Were they buried?
There had to be. Anyway, so now you'll understand why Aaron got comforted. He says, listen, what the Nevi'im did is very, very noble. They're representing the fact that the physical world of 6, right? How many columns were there of breads? 6 columns of double bread. 6. He says they are representing the world at its tikkun, but only the world that represents the human experience. You are, on the other hand, are representing the chachma, the daily, non-stop, pure energy of wisdom of Chachmas HaTorah that brings those breads to reality. Shalcha gedola mishalachem. You represent the core of everything. What are you upset about that they're going to bring a few challahs? That's not what it's about. Lo al halechem levad yichyeh ha'adam. You're much higher than what the tribes accomplished. Now, what do the tribes do? Just have to read this to you for 1 second. Look at their message. Yisachar, who's the bastion of Torah, comes up with this brilliant idea. Let's learn what it means. Okay, where is Yisachar? Okay, B'yam Sheni Hikriv. He came close. What did he give? Karas Kesef Karbano, right? What is it? Karas Kesef Echad. Who is the Karas Kesef? Rashi says it represents the Gematria Adam Ha-Rishon. Karas Kesef is Adam Ha-Rishon. It's Gematria. Shloshim Me'ash Mishkala, 130 shkalim in weight. This bowl of silver. Al Shem Shekeshehem, he told us, L'kiyam Olam Ben Mea V'Shloshim Shanaya. Shase, the real son of not the messed up kind of Hevel, but Shase, who would build the world from him, was born when Adam Rishon was how old? 130 years old. So what are we talking about right now? Adam and Kiyum Ha'olam. What's going to keep our world from blowing itself to bits? Is the Chachmas HaTorah. It's starting with Adam, and it goes through who's the next station? Shase. Continue. Mizrak Echad Kesef is Gematria. Noach. Okay? And he's more Gematrias there. So we go from Adam, Shase, Noach. Let's keep going. Shivim Shekel. Keneged, the 70 nations. The Bnei Noach. The children of Noach. Uh-oh. Here comes Kaf Echad. But what's going to save that whole mess? Keneged HaTorah, Shenitnu Miyado Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Kaf Echad. Given from the hand of Hashem, the one, the only, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Torah is the solution to the dilemma of mankind not being destroyed in another Mabul. Okay? Asara Zahav, that's easy. What you could tell me, what's the Asara Zahav over there? Zeres Ha Dibros. Malaya Ketores, the Gematria of Ketores is mitzvos. And we know that Ketores also contains everybody. It's a sweet, who brings the Ketores? Who's the master of the Ketores? It's really Aaron, who's able to bring together everybody into a sweet smelling Avodas Hashem. It's okay. Par Echad is who? Avram Avinu. Because he took a par, right, to feed the angels. Yitzchak is Ayel Echad. The next animal was an Ayel, representing Yitzchak. The next animal was Sir Izim. Lechaper al Mechiras Yosef. What are we saying? The sale of Yosef represents the tearing away of Chachmas HaTorah to the side of Tumah. The Mitzrayim stealing the Jewish wisdom for their own selfish purposes. Ulazevach Hashanim Bakar Shnayim, that's Moshe Aram. Elim Chamisha, that's Keneged Kohanim Levim Yisraelim. Yeah, finished. What's going on over here? The concept was that the entire message of the Nisim was, we, by holding on to the Torah, are delivering the world from destruction, through the services of the tzaddik Yosef, who will bring Moshe and Aaron, who together with Abraham and Yaakov charted a path for the future of the world after the 70 nations of Noah failed to comprehend that their world was more than what they observed. Okay, so back to the 7 wisdoms. What were these 7 wisdoms? And by the way, says Ramchal an amazing thing. Or Moshe Shapiro says this. Or Moshe Shapiro says, why did the Edomites, who represent the essential 70 nations, right? Amalek. Rashis Goyim, Amalek. Where does Amalek come from? Edom. Pinnacle of the nations. Why did they have a Jewish God? Why did they take Yashka? Why did they take a Jew? And by the way, not only was he Jewish, obviously, but most of all of the disciples were Jewish. And not only that, but Saul of Tarshish, who some say was a plant, that the rabbi said, get these Christians out of here. They're mixing up everybody. Go to Rome and paganize this religion. Tell them you don't have to do mitzvahs, you don't have to do bris milah. Get rid of them. He was a Jew. Some say he was a member of Sanhedrin. And he sacrificed his life on a mission to take Christianity out of Judaism, get rid of it. Today they all run around with the Messianic trying to, they go around with the Talis. Oh, we're, Yeshua. And they sing Jewish songs, and they, that's what they're doing. They're so desperate. They got to steal the Jews. Why do they care about converting the Jews? For the same reason they say they know there's something within the Jewish people, within the Jewish soul, called Torah, without which the world cannot be completed. And therefore, we need a Jew. So they stole a Jew. Now, I'll draw an analogy here, based on what Moshe Shapiro is saying, is that the sale of Yosef was identical to what Christianity did. Because anyway, what is Christianity? But the hemshech of the Chachmas Yavan. They took Chachmas, what they did is they took the concepts and they made it into reality, into states, into empires. They were the hand. Hayadayim Yedei Esa. They took the Chachma of Yavan and they said, okay, this is our idea. This is what they didn't know what to think. Oh, think this, and then we'll implement it. But they needed a Jew at the core. And starting in 1840, but even before that, in 1740, when the gates of wisdom slowly began to open, and the Vilna Gaon said, this is the era of Mashiach ben Yosef, is starting, okay? The church begins to break apart, in earnest. Even before that. Martin Luther was right after Gerush Sfarad, 1500, right? Around there. And that was the end. You have to understand. The defeat of the Spanish Armada was what year? 1488. It was right before Spain was breaking apart because they could not hold their Jews anymore. Yes, it's true that they expelled them, but Hashem did that so that they would walk proudly, led by the Abarbanel, on a journey to Eretz Yisrael. You know there's an advertisement that they put around on all the websites that almost any Israeli, 3.5 million Israelis are eligible for European citizenship by Portugal. Do you know why?
Because they know
Want
they
them
have
to go
Jewish
back.
blood.
Any country where
Want to
Jews
go back.
went to from Spain and Portugal, they said that includes like Turkey and those areas, the Ottoman Empire, and it includes all the Arab countries, Morocco, and even South America, because that's where they went afterwards. They started in those places. They started going to Recife in Brazil in 1500, 1600. You can all come back now. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. You want the Jews back. Morocco is holishing to have the Jews back. Morocco is spending billions of dollars to restore the Jewish sites in hope that they can rebuild their Jewish. They just had elections for the first time in 1969 and appointed a chief rabbi, you know who? Rabbi Pinto, who was happy to get out of Eretz Yisrael, but we won't discuss that. And he's now chief rabbi of Morocco because they're ready for him from Paris. They want everybody back. No, sorry, too late. There's no Greeks, there's no Jews in Greece. There were like about 90,000 before the Holocaust. All were destroyed. There's nothing. You don't get those Jews back. The thing is breaking apart. Now, So what remains is, I'm going to go just a few extra minutes, is that if once the church starts falling apart, so the Vatican is a relic. What's the real New Vatican? The universities of secular Western Europe. University of Berlin was the New Vatican. In fact, the secularists used to say, "Oh, we don't need." That's I think that about Torres Mima said very famously. He says, "You know what? This is Jerusalem, fountainhead of wisdom." Okay, let me just give you the 7 wisdoms and tell you that they are represented by the Nachash. The Nachash.
What about Yesh Chachma B'Goyim?
Yes, Yesh Chachma B'Goyim, but they have to align it. They have to align it with Torah values. Once they agree that Moshe Kibel Torah Sinai, and they come back and say, we want to be good Noahides. That was the message of the Nisim. Be good Noahides. We'll show you the way. We're fixing the world. Or L'Goyim. Aaron, you got even better Or L'Goyim, because you're going to unify the wisdoms with the wisdom of Torah. Okay. But here we go. The 7 books represent the following. These are the wisdoms of the ancient world. Logic, which is just human ability to think logically. That's the basis of all human wisdom. You can prove me, that was the main thing. That's philosophy. Logic is philosophy. But language, because there are 70 of them. Mathematics, which is measuring space. Geometry, which is in space. Music. Biology, psychology, which is the study of mankind. And astronomy, astrology, which is the study of the 7 planetary systems. Now you know why the Menora is connected to 7 planets. Because it represents the furthest realm of science. Got it? So, what happened? What? Philosophy is logic. Same thing. Because they ask the questions.
And where is physics?
Physics actually would be on the same line as mathematics, because physics really is mathematical equations, especially theoretical physics. It's all equations. Okay, so we're just going to finish with this. What conquered the wisdom of Mitzrayim and got it out? Who got Yosef out of Mitzrayim? Moshe Rabbeinu. That represents the liberation of the Jew from captivity of the Satan, who maintains it now. The Satan started his career very early. Who did he use as his first instrument of destruction? The Nachash. It says the Satan used the Nachash like a pony to drive into. He used him. He was a tool of the Satan. The Satan is much bigger than the Nachash. The Nachash is not a bad guy. The people are butchering. Nachash was Begamatria Mashiach.
I thought they were the same.
Mashiach is called Nachash. Yishai, the father of Mashiach, is called Nachash. What are you talking about? Because there's 2 snakes. We'll have to go through this next time. Good snake, bad snake. For example, in Mitzrayim, they took the snakes and turned them into a mateh. What are the things that were created? Bein hashmashos.
One of them.
Yeah, the mateh, the mun, the luchos, the ksav, the michtav. All the things that represent the triumph of the centrality of Torah knowledge over the world. The Nachash turns. Now, the Nachash eventually, which is what we're going through now, so it's done the other Shiur, we'll close with this, turns on the Satan and says, hey buddy, you remember the end of Star Wars? Who doesn't remember Star Wars? What happens? How does who's Darth Vader? Darth Vader is the Nachash. He was taken over by evil. The Satan is the emperor. He took him over. Right? What happens? How do we get the Nachash back? His own son comes and redeems him. Right? Fights with him and basically mortally wounds him. Right? What's his name again? Skywalker. Luke Skywalker. Moshe Rabbeinu, Skywalker, right? So he comes and he says, I'll rescue you. I'll turn you, Mr. Nachash, into a mateh. And what does he do? With his last breath, does tshuva. and the Nachash destroys the Satan himself. The Nachash, the good Nachash, is to destroy evil. It's part of the process of Metatron, which is Mashiach ben Yosef, which has to do with the Mata. We're in it. Right now, there's a turn. Trump represents a big piece of it. America, all the American presidents did something to get Yosef out. That was the Poltover Gaon. I like to have to say this. Poltover Gaon was a genius of Torah, stuck behind the Iron Curtain. He wrote a definitive Perush on Yerushalmi, considered the best and most lucid work on the Talmud of Eretz Yisrael. Why?
Who is this?
Poltover Gaon. His name was very famous. I hope I brought it here. Yeah, Yitzchak Isaac Krasilichov. Known as the Gaon of Poltover, died in 1965. Wrote 20 volumes on the Yerushalmi. Why? He says, I'll never get to Eretz Yisrael. The KGB watched every move that they made. And if they knew that these manuscripts existed, they would destroy them. Through the help of two very, very special Jews, Rabbi Yaacov Pollock of Shomrei Emuna in Borough Park, who went to the Soviet Union but Mesiras Nefesh many times, and Harry Bronstein of Al Tidom. The tzaddik made them promise on his deathbed, 1965, you'll get my manuscripts out. It took 17 years, and now it was done only through President Reagan. President Reagan was able to smuggle out. Like Jimmy Carter saved Rabbi Nachman's grave from destruction. They were going to build an apartment building on it. Like Harry Truman, who recognized the state of Israel. Like, who else? Well, each one of the American presidents, not because of any thought of their own, but they were the tool. Liberate, get Yosef out of Mitzrayim. Do Moshe's work. There's the Nachash turning for the good. And that's what America will eventually do. Will destroy evil. And where's the real Haman Amalek today? Where he was originally, in Iran. And that's America's job. And Trump is doing part of it. We'll see where it goes. So the good Nachash is power to destroy. Destroy what? To destroy evil. And that's the era that we're in. And then the Chachmas will merge. We'll talk more about it next time.
Thank you,
Can you see
Rabbi.
that name?
So rescuing those books was getting the tzaddik and the Yerushalmi, which represented Eretz Yisrael, to him. He said, I'll never get to Eretz Yisrael, so let me at least learn and devote my life to the Yerushalmi. When we got that out, the Soviet Union started to collapse. That's exactly what happened.
Thank you.
And what happened when they liberated the tomb of Rabbi Nachman? Within a few years, the Soviet Union collapsed.
How many people go to the gravesite of Rabbi Nachman?
All the tzaddikim, by the way, Bhalotcha, you name it, every single tzaddik is now accessible. Was nowhere, you couldn't go anywhere. The KGB would throw you into jail, and did throw many people into jail. If you even thought about going to a paper tzaddik, we got out the Yerushalmi of the Poltover Gaon.
You couldn't make them.
Is that my mic? Okay, we'll stop here.